Hello and welcome to my fourth minigame that I created, Monster Corner. I'm going to be a little biased when I talk about this game because it is my favorite game that I created, or one of my favorite games. This is based off of a child's game called Four Corners, and you'll see how it's played. As you can see, I made this theme very spooky, very scary. When I was just flying around in this world, I discovered this big old cave cavern that had like red trees. It kind of looked like it belonged in the Nether, but it was here in the overworld. So I just decided to continue that theme to make it like the overworld meets the Nether world. We have this sort of spooky mouth thing going on here. That's where I also added some more animations based off of my successful animation for Kerplunk. I created animation for this game as well. So like I said, this game is based off of a child's game called Four Corners. The way that Four Corners is played is that four corners are designated. We have 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then there will be one child or one person who was chosen to be the corner chooser. The corner chooser then puts her back towards the crowd or the rest of the people and covers her eyes, while the crowd of people or the crowd of kids then silently move to corner between 1, 2, 3, and 4, or choosing 1, 2, 3, and 4. They have a certain amount of time to do that. After the kids are settled into their corners, without looking, the kid with their eyes closed and their back towards the crowd will then call out a specific corner. Whatever corner they call out, that corner is then eliminated. And this process is repeated over and over again until there is one kid left and they are the winner. So, as you can see, instead of having four corners that are labeled with numbers, I have corners that are labeled elements. We've got iron, gold, emerald, and diamond. And then here is where the corner eliminators are. So the corner eliminators are what I call the slayers, right? So those are the kids who essentially would be that kid who is covering their eyes with their back towards the crowd, who will be choosing a corner, and the crowd themselves that picks a corner silently while the kid, let's say that the corner chooser kid or the slayer would count to 12, and the crowd will then choose a specific corner. For the crowd, I named them right here, survivors. So we have slayers and survivors. The way that the mechanic of this game is specifically played, or the specificness of this game, is that I, the operator, the games master, will teleport a specific team to this location. So for example, we'll do like zombies. I would teleport zombies here, which means that creepers, skeletons, and withers will be the survivors. I will then come over here to my game control center. Let's put a button there. Ooh, and I will press this button, and that will then choose or put a tag on these two locations, right? The Slayer tag and the Survivor tag. After the tags are created, the survivors will all be teleported here into the ring of fire, or the box of choosing, or the corners of choosing, while the slayers, the kids who have their eyes covered with their backs towards the crowd, will be put here, right? And so now you're probably asking, well, how do they choose corners and do all that fun stuff if the eliminators can see where the corner choosers are going? Well, here's the fun part. When I press start game, this red box is eliminated. That allows the kids, right, there's boxes here so that it looks a little spooky, but you can walk over it with ease. I'm not flying. The kid will then walk towards the mouth, enter the mouth. As the mouth closes, and then we place into this room. I'll wait for the pressure plate to respawn back. But again, we have buttons here showcasing the four corners. And you can see the mouth opens and closes. Very cool. So meanwhile, while the red barrier was down and the kid is walking into the mouth, or the corner, the Slayer was walking into the mouth, getting ready to choose a corner. The other kids were running around trying to figure out, either as a team or as an individual, of which corner they want to stop at. I believe I gave them 15 seconds in order to choose a corner. Then barrier blocks would appear, and whatever corner they landed on is the corner or the box that they need to stay in. After the corners are locked in, while this mouth is closed, the kid will then choose a corner by pressing one of the buttons in order to eliminate one of the corners or one of the boxes. But yeah, that's a lot of talking. Let's see how it works. So again, going back all the way to the beginning, where I divided up these, who is going to be Slayer and who's going to be Survivor. In order to lock those teams in, I would press the first one. Start. Let's try it. There we go. And yep, Slayers are chosen, Survivors are chosen. Which means that each team, or each the Slayers and the Survivors would go to their respective spots, or be teleported to respective spots. Again, the Slayers would be there, Survivors would be there. In order to stop confusion from the Game Master, I automated the blocks to be placed here so that the Game Master knows that this is not needed anymore. They don't need to press this button anymore. After that, I will press this one where the Slayer walks into the mouth. Walks into the mouth, but they do not choose a corner yet. This will also activate these red blocks that are here, or these red blocks, these red fences, to disappear, allowing the Survivors to choose a box. So again, while this red barrier is disappearing, these red barriers disappearing, and Slayers and Survivors are moving into the game phase of game. Right. So Slayer, please enter the mouth. As you can see, the barrier block is gone, and the Slayer is walking. And before they can get there, it should say that don't choose a corner yet. I'll do that one more time so you guys can see the red barrier blocks dissipate as well. That one's gone. Good. Good, so now the Slayers in the mouth, they cannot see what's happening out here. I press the button. These red barriers are gone now. I said that you have 15 seconds to choose a corner. 10 seconds left. Kids are running around, choosing corners, they're freaking out. Hopefully they're not yelling because they don't want the Slayers to hear where they're at. And iron. Ooh, choose a corner. Because I'm in World Builder, I can walk through barriers. But there are barriers here now, forcing the people who are in each box to stay in that box. All right. Ooh. And then in order to stop the Slayer from peeking or opening the mouth again, there is a time limit on when the pressure plate to leave appears. So wait for that to appear. Cool. And then just for argument's sake, I'm going to reopen it. Right, we're going to pretend that that's closed, just so you can see corners being eliminated. We're going to choose Emerald. Your fate has been decided. Say goodbye to Emerald. And emeralds would be eliminated. They would fall through and they'll plummet to the lava. Then after a couple seconds, everything gets rebuilt. Hopefully. I am far away from the code. Oh, there we go. Cool. So again, in Minecraft, especially Minecraft Education, if you're far away from the original code, sometimes it might not be executed, which is why it's great when you're playing with multiple people, because they count as, what I said before in a previous video, they count as a ticking area. But if I'm playing by myself and I want a code to happen, it's kind of hard to again quality test some of these things if I'm not near the code and it doesn't execute. But luckily that one did. All right, cool. So the corner was chosen. We saw it, we eliminate, we saw it disappear, we saw it get put back together. Now we press number 4, and which is the next round. The barrier blocks here are gone. The Slayer and survivors are re-teleported back to their respective spots, which is here for Slayers, and then here for all survivors, or the survivors who are left. If they were eliminated, they would be teleported to here and they would lose the survivor tag. All right. And there was a blank, or sort of like after I pressed the button, it seemed like nothing happened. But I sent a specific title, specific title to each I guess tag team. So like the Slayers had a specific title sent to them, and the survivors had a specific title sent to them, just to personalize the experience a little bit more. I believe the Slayers title, it said like, oh, you'll get them next time, and the survivor one said, great job, you live another day, let's do it again, encouraging fun gameplay. And then again, we would press this button to allow the Slayer to start walking to the mouth. Then we press this button to allow the survivors to choose a corner. And then after the corner is chosen and or I should say the box, after the box is chosen and the box is eliminated, then we would roll onto the next round. And yeah, that's the entirety of Monster Corner. Again, this was such a fun game to create. I did a lot of PE before I started doing these Minecraft maps, and there was a time where we had to play inside, and I was like, oh gosh, what am I gonna do with these kids for PE inside like their classrooms and stuff? And I remember one of my teachers was doing 4 corners for their class, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's right, 4 corners. And I was like, I feel like that could be such a fun mini game for kids in Minecraft. Like, I feel like I can do that. And yeah, here we are. I love the way it turned out. I love that it's spooky. It's like as if the Slayers are sacrificing the survivors to this weird spooky entity. It's crazy. It's got like weird aspect. I don't know, it's just spooky, and I like that. It's like kid spooky, so where they're not gonna get nightmares, but it's the right amount of spooky. And coding wise, this just worked out perfectly as well. It's a game that functions easily for anybody to utilize, which is again big on which is what I'm trying to. But yeah, again, that was Monster Corner. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Bye.